Okay, so you've done it. You started a new cash flow business. Maybe it's a vending machine, maybe it's an ATM. The money is finally coming in and things are looking great. But what if I told you that a single, tiny accident could put everything you've ever worked for at risk? Well, today we're going to break down the exact legal setup you need to protect yourself step by step.
I want you to just picture this for a second. A customer gets a small cut from one of your machines. It seems like nothing, but then they sue. And without the right legal protection, that lawsuit isn't just targeting your business. Oh no, they're coming for your personal bank account, your car, maybe even your house. Everything. Without a legal shield, there's absolutely nothing standing in their way.
And that's really the core risk, isn't it? When there's no legal separation between you and your business, you are the business. They're one and the same in the eyes of the law. So a lawsuit against your company automatically becomes a lawsuit against you personally. That's a threat that no new business owner should ever have to face.
So how do you build that separation? How do you protect yourself? You build a legal liability shield. It's called a Limited Liability Company, or an LLC for short, and it is hands down the most effective tool for walling off your personal wealth from your business risks.
So what is an LLC? It's pretty simple, really. It creates a completely separate legal entity for your business. The best way to think about it is like a protective wall. On one side, you have all your business stuff, and on the other, you have your personal life. They are now legally two different things. So let's go back to that lawsuit. If someone sues your business, now they can only go after what's on the business side of that wall. You know, the machines, the cash, and the business bank account. But here's the magic. They can't touch what's on the other side. Your personal savings, your home, your car. They're all shielded. That right there, that is the power of limited liability.
But, and this is a big but, let's be crystal clear about something. An LLC is not some magical get-out-of-jail-free card. It protects you from business liabilities, right? Like if a supplier gives you a faulty product that causes a problem. It does not protect you from your own personal negligence. So if you knowingly do something dangerous or reckless, you can still be held personally liable. The key takeaway here is an LLC protects you from business risks, not your own personal misconduct.
Okay, let's get into the practical stuff. You're probably thinking this sounds complicated or expensive, but setting this up is way faster and easier than you think. In fact, here's a 4-step plan you can literally knock out in a single afternoon. All right, step 1, choose your state and pick a unique name for your business. Step 2, you're going to file a document called the Articles of Organization with your state and get a free employer ID number, or EIN, from the IRS website. Step 3, create your operating agreement. We'll talk more about that in a sec. And finally, step 4, open a dedicated business bank account. I cannot stress this enough. This last step is absolutely non-negotiable. And what does all this critical protection actually cost? Well, the state filing fees usually range from about $100 to $500. Really just depends on where you live. That's it. For a few $100s, less than a new phone, you get a legal shield that could save you absolutely everything. Now, you might have heard people talking about filing in states like Wyoming or Delaware for extra privacy or whatever. Look, for most new businesses, that's just an unnecessary complication. The rule of thumb is simple. If your machines are physically in Texas, you're doing business in Texas. The easiest and most direct path is to just file your LLC in the state where you actually operate. Keep it simple.
All right, I need you to pay really close attention here, because you can do all that work, you can pay the fee, get all your LLC paperwork, but two very, very common mistakes can make it all for nothing. These errors can completely destroy your legal protection. So what is it? What's the single biggest error that new business owners make? The one thing that can just tear down that entire protective wall you just built? It's commingling funds. That's it. It just means using your personal bank account for business stuff or using your business account to pay for personal expenses. If a court sees you're doing this, they can decide that your LLC isn't a truly separate thing. They can do something called piercing the corporate veil, and just like that, poof, your personal assets are totally exposed again. So you've kept your finances separate. Awesome. But there's one more critical document that proves your LLC is the real deal, and it's something almost everyone overlooks. Any guesses what it is?
It's the operating agreement. You can think of this as the internal rule book for your company. Skipping this, or just downloading some generic template you don't even understand, is a huge red flag for a court. This document is what outlines how your business is actually owned and managed, and it proves that your LLC is a real, structured entity, and not just some shell company you threw together. So what needs to be in it? Well, your agreement has to clearly state 5 key things: who owns the LLC, who's in charge of running it, how much money was invested to get it started, how you plan to take profits out of the business, and what happens if the business ever has to close down. These 5 clauses, they are non-negotiable for proving your LLC is legit.
So let's put this all together. Here is your immediate 5-step action plan. You can do this. You can get this done this week and make sure your business and your family are secure. Here it is. Your to-do list for this week. First, search for your business name. Second, file your articles of organization. Third, get your free EIN from the IRS. Fourth, draft and sign your operating agreement with those 5 key clauses. And finally, number 5, open that dedicated business bank account. You can do all of this in one afternoon. For less than the cost of a night out, your assets can be protected.
And that brings us right back to the question we started with. After all of your hard work, all the risk you've taken, are your personal assets truly safe? If the answer isn't a confident and immediate yes, you now have the exact plan to change that.